Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our horizontal spreads for the next week of October. I've got some sticker sheets here ready to go, as well as this rub-on transfer sheet that I'm excited to use from the dollar store. Made some stickers with my foam memo printer and these sticker books which I pulled from. This week is the last week of the October Planable Challenge, and this week's theme is Spooky Season. So if you'd like to participate, go ahead and post your spreads up on Instagram using the hashtag PlanableOctober2020. We'd love to see what you guys come up with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started by laying down some wax paper so that I can move things around, try things out. I have printed some stickers off of the internet using my foam memo printer. Basically just grabbed some images of the things that I wanted and printed them to use them here on the spread. So I printed out this old book with a quill and a couple of ravens. The theme for this week is going to be Edgar Allen Poe's The Raven poem. I thought that would be a nice spooky feel for the spread without being about Halloween, because we don't do Halloween in my house. We're just not Halloween people, not into this as a holiday. So I thought just kind of like an old Victorian kind of creepy feel would be sufficient spookiness for this week. I am pulling in some florals that I think are just really oddly colored and kind of off, which I think works well with that Victorian spooky feel. And I'm going to lay over the flowers a spider web. This idea came from According to Allie a long time ago. I think she did this a few years ago and was the first one to do that. It's been kind of circulating around the planner community since then. I thought that would be a good way to, again, just kind of have those old Victorian house feels. So I'm going to go ahead and use that technique here. I grabbed those florals and this spider web, or the spider webs that I'm using here, from the Memory Keeping Holidays sticker book that I showed in the beginning. All of the sticker books that I use will be in the description below, as well as a lot of the materials and the planner layouts that I use. So if you're looking for anything particular, do check the description. You should be able to find what you're looking for there. And if you don't, just send me a comment asking and I'll happily give you the information you're looking for. So I'm working on the corners for now for the floral feels, and I was going to do the opposite corners you see there on the top and the bottom, but I decided to pull in more of the florals and put them on all four corners. So I'm just going to try to figure out how that looks and pull the best looking ones that I think have the most funky color schemes. I'm not a real big fan of these realistic florals, so this is a great way to get them used on a spread versus, trying to use them in a more pretty manner. I like it kind of more in this creepy, just because of the color scheme of the florals. And I'm working on this corner up here, just trying to get the layering right so that I don't cover too much of the month or the day, but also get the feels in there. I also grabbed this Read a Book from the holiday sticker book. A few other stickers like this spider web on the book and a couple of the other spider with the writing, like the book pages behind it. I grabbed those from the Brilliant Year seasonal sticker books, the mini and the regular. I also pulled a couple of book background stickers from the Color Story Big, which are there on the sticker sheet there on the left, but I don't end up using them. They have a little bit different feel to them, and they're also, I just didn't end up needing them in the end. I don't think I ended up pulling anything else from that Color Story Big sticker book. So just trying to move things around and fit things in, but I thought that these book themed background stickers would be perfect for this kind of literary themed spread. And I had trimmed off that one sticker with the spider, and now I made it into a banner so that I could use it in another area, just kind of give it a little bit of a unique feel to reuse it. And I grabbed these focus boxes from the seasonal Brilliant Year sticker book, and I pulled some in black, kind of black gray, and then like this really dark teal tone, just to add a little bit of differentiation of color in here. I also thought that tied a little bit to the florals, just to have that little bounce of color. Same with these headers, they also came from the Brilliant Year sticker book, and I pulled both black and the dark teal for that as well. So I'm getting ready to break out these rub-on transfer letters I'm going to use, and I'm cutting out each letter that I need individually so that I can spell out the quote. The quote I'm going to use is going to be "Quoth the Raven, nevermore," just again to tie to the Raven poem. I wrote it out and counted how many of each letter I was going to need to make sure I could complete the full quote that I wanted to do. And I had just enough of everything except for E's. I was short one E that I needed. So I'm going to cut out an F and try to manipulate that into an E so that I can do the full thing. Just bear with me as I cut out all the individual letters and make sure I get everything that I need so that I can work through this quote. This is the first time I've used rub-on transfers in my planner, and I'm pretty excited about it. I hope that this goes well. You know, I never really thought about using rub-on transfers on a planner, but I was in the dollar store and I saw them there, these letters. I thought they were really kind of cool looking and would work perfect for this theme. So I picked up a sheet. Honestly, I hadn't looked at Dollar Tree for things for my planner until just recently in this fall season. I started doing some DIY crafts using Dollar Tree items. I went on the YouTube and watched a bunch of videos and kind of got into crafting. Through that, I saw a bunch of different things that I could use in various ways, including things like this with the rub-on transfers. But they have a pretty big craft section, surprisingly, at Dollar Tree. So if you are looking for things just to, up your creativity here in your planner or in crafting, definitely check it out if you have one in your area. They have a lot of interesting things that can be used on the cheap. Just throw that out there as an idea. So I have all the letters kind of together into the words, but I'm not real sure about placement right now. A little worried that it's going to take up more space than I have, so not real sure how this is going to look and how to balance it. Just trying to work through that here. I think if I move this banner, I will have enough room to put nevermore here across the top. So maybe I'll do that. That looks pretty good across the bottom section. Let's see if I like that. I think what I'll do is I'll start moving things over and then figure it out once I get everything solidified on the page. So I'm going to start in this corner here, and I need to realign the spider web a bit since it has that straight edge. I want to make sure it's right flush up against the side. And then I'm going to do some trimming. I will save these pieces, but I'm not sure that I'll reuse them here on the spread. I had a lot of flowers left over, so I'm sure I could easily do another spread with these florals sometime in the future. I'm also going to white out the background here, this line that I have. I don't want it to show through the florals. It's a little too dark, so it's going to white that part out and trim it up. I'm going to do the same thing here behind this raven. Even though it's black, it's a little bit transparent, so I don't want that to show through, and I kind of want to have him isolated against the background. So I'll white out that line. Also going to move over the other elements that I have places for. And then maybe start adding in at least this part of the quote on the right hand side. And right now it looks like it might not fit, but once I have the ability to kind of squeeze the letters together and put them real close, it does end up fitting quite nicely. And the technique I'm using here is basically you just need to remove off the backing and place down the letter where you want it. You rub a little bit to release it from the top film, and then it sets down nicely. You do have to be careful though, because once the sticker area is exposed, it does stick pretty well to almost anything, so you have to be careful. I almost messed up the M there. Luckily it didn't stick down or didn't contact the paper. So just using the back of my tweezers to kind of give me a little bit harder rub. And I didn't put down the entire O for Nevermore, but I kind of liked the way that looked. So if I do peel up some of the letter, no big deal. I think it kind of looks a little bit more interesting anyway. So now I'm going to put down some of the stickers on the opposite side so I can work out how this side of the quote will look. And again, starting in the corner and keeping the trimmings for later. I'm also going to white out behind the raven's head, again, just to isolate him from the background. And I also trimmed off a little bit so that the feet look like they're sitting on the bottom of the page. And again, working on keeping the month and the date as much as possible uncovered, but adding in these flowers here in the corner and then trimming them out. So the spread went pretty fast except for the letters of the rub-on transfer. I think it would have been a little bit faster had I done this before, so really not too bad of a spread. It came together pretty nicely. I'm also going to white out behind this quill, just again to isolate it from the background. And I really like this book background decor that I was able to find. I really think it helps tie together the theme. So I've started laying in the first part of the quote, and just going to start laying in the letters, kind of tightly packed again because I want to make sure I have enough room. I really like how these turned out, these letters. They really were pretty easy to use, and you know, just interesting that they look like they're printed on the page when you're done and not like stickers, which is kind of cool. I decided that I was going to move this E here onto the left-hand side of the page because there were too many E's on the opposite side for contrast, so I wanted to isolate this one that looks a little different. I think it worked out nice. I just did a little surgery there to put the last bit of the E there on the bottom. And now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to put these letters in. I am a little concerned about space. I'm taking up quite a bit of room here on Wednesday, so hopefully I have enough room to put in actual plans, because you guys know I like to keep things functional as well. I think I will have enough space for a checkbox there on the far right, and then maybe a focus section on the left next to Raven. But again, it's going to be a little bit tighter than I'm used to, at least. But I really felt like this was the best placement, so I'm going to just try to work with that. I'm also going to add back in this image that I'd taken off before for space and use it here as decor. Trying to fit in this focus box here on the right hand side. Did a little bit of overlap, but I think it'll work. And I also decided that I wanted to add some punctuation just to kind of bring this quote to life a bit. So I'm just going to pencil in some quotes and an exclamation mark and a comma as well. I'm using my Arteza twill marker, and that worked perfectly. Color was just right. I'm also going to use it for my check boxes, and once I get those guys in, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!